Welcome to another episode of the Big Brothers of Destruction podcast. Man, it is the Mazaku.
It's your boy Swag Switcher in the building.
I
And
almost took it on accident that time. I realized I paused midway and I almost said your boy and I stopped, but it's the Mazaku. And we got Swag Switcher here with another episode, man. It's the crazy week of wrestling that we have going on, man. WrestleMania just ended. We got the finish of the century that no wrestling fan wanted. We have, for some reason, Travis Scott coming out to help John Cena when there is no final boss present. The final boss was the centerpiece of this. He made this all about selling your soul. John Cena apparently sold his soul, but we don't know what he sold his soul for. And it looks like maybe he sold his soul for Travis Scott. That's what it looks like. That's what we got. And we got what I really wanted from Mania, and that was Cena winning the title. And interestingly enough, he has now created the ticking clock that is, I have this belt and either somebody takes it from me or I'm going to be the last remaining champion or this title. And we're going to go into that promo in a second, but I'm kind of glad we're getting this. But Mania side, well, it's not Mania side, going back into Mania, what were your thoughts from Mania and how the whole Travis Scott situation imploded?
Stupid. Just there's no other way to put it. It's stupid. Listen, I have probably absorbed, ingested, digested, eaten, slept, drank such a large amount of wrestling this week from Saturday. Actually, I won't even include Saturday. From last Sunday to right now, when we're doing this recording, which is on Sundays, posting on Mondays, the amount of wrestling that I have just been eating this week, I don't think I've ever ingested so much wrestling information ever in all of my times of enjoying wrestling. And it's mostly just been because of the fact of the absolute tomfoolery that happened at WrestleMania. Because and there's almost a part of me that's like, I almost might have like dug too deep and found out more information than I needed to the point where I'm like, damn, am I putting the tinfoil hat on too? Am I like buying into some of this extra? And I'll explain myself.
Okay.
So before I do, have you seen or heard the Pat McAfee show with Dwayne Johnson?
Yes, the bullshit that the Rock said about why he didn't want to do the thing at Mania. He was like, "Oh man, I feel like the final boss doesn't need to be here anymore. You guys go for it. You got it." Wait, what do you mean? You made this about you.
100%. And in this whole process, because we have the group chat that we always bring up, which for all intents and purposes is the reason why this has even kind of begun. And so it's like I see the things in the group chat. I talk to some of my more level-headed friends that are into wrestling and how they feel about certain things. And it's and then I also went out and explored the wild blue yonder of wrestling podcast stuff. And let me just say, in more ways than one, this week has been crash out week, fam.
Literally.
Like, people have been crashing out hard. Homeboy from Busted Open, I think his
Yes.
name's like David. Bam, crash out season is among us. There's this one guy. I think he's like
He's like John something. I know who you're talking about. He has like his like, yeah, he has like a New York City background or something like that. He is the complete crash out, bro. Because like when he talks about AEW, the way he talked about this, it's like,
oh,
I look at us as a podcast and I'm like, I think we're tame, bro. Like,
I don't
we're very
listen.
tame.
Very, but nowhere near like I may get passionate about certain things like the horrible parenting skills of our Raw general manager and why certain people shouldn't be in matches or we should not reward bad behavior, but I don't get that crazy. I might talk my shit about AEW, but I'm not about to go full crash out season on how bad their collision might have been and how it didn't further nothing. But
And we're not saying that it's bad. We're not saying it is bad at all. What we're saying is there's a level of passion that we're okay. I think I don't want to say because we're at an older like bracket of wrestling fans because these guys are older than us. It's just I guess we don't get as upset. We'll be like, all right, so what are you about to do with this? Like, I'm mad, but what are you about to do to fix this? Because you got to fix it, otherwise it's bad.
exactly.
So we'll like, it's like we'll fall off the ride for a second, like, ow, okay, but we'll get back on. Like, okay, we'll ride it out. And some people are
Yeah.
just not wanting to ride it out.
Listen, there are also some people who are just like who will do the thing where it's all like, man, this is trash. Oh well. And it's just like how you just all right. I mean, if that's how you nonchalantly react to it. But get back to the whole thing with The Rock. One of the things, and I know for a good bit of it was just because I'm like, am I the only one who's thinking this way? And it's just because there's a lot of people who are all like, I'm glad The Rock wasn't there. And I'm like, I can understand you not wanting Dwayne Johnson in your soup. All right. Because, The Rock's kind of been a little recently. But in regards to the situation that's going on, for it to make sense, how can you sit here and be all like, thank God The Rock wasn't there?
He
I'm
was a
like,
key ingredient to the dish that was that match.
he. And it's one of those deals where there's a part of me that feels that because they could have easily just written off the Rock. They could have all they had to say, all John Cena needed to do was be like, I used the Rock to get at Cody Rhodes. The real reason why I'm doing this is because of, and then move forward with everything that he has said thus far,
He
kind of
could
thing.
he could have even did a I did it so that way I can catch Cody being vulnerable because like something of that nature, right? That would have made more sense.
Because then at that point we're like, oh, so The Rock actually did not have anything to do with it. The Rock was just a small trick to set this whole thing trickling down the lane. All right, cool, that's fine.
But could you imagine
We could have accepted that.
But could you imagine though, like as much as Cena was talking all that smack about The Rock years ago for Mania match, and like just the back and forth constantly picking at him about writing his promo on his arm and all that kind of stuff, to them be the new Hollywood power trip. Like we as fans
That's
wanted
that's
that
what we were
so
supposed to
bad.
get.
We were
That's what we
supposed to get that.
needed. I won't even say that's what we needed. That's that's
Oh no,
what.
that's what we needed. We needed that. We needed that.
Well, so so when it comes to that, I would say because only because The Rock made himself relevant to the story is the only reasons why we needed it. We did not actually need The Rock, period.
No.
If we took because take The Rock out of the situation, honestly, everything that happened, especially with the way that everything happened, if you just what is it? What's that Google phone that they got now? You use that Google phone to erase The Rock and Travis Scott out of the
Oh
picture, kind of thing.
no.
From Elimination Chamber all the way to WrestleMania, everything could have happened exactly the same. Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
almost down to the T. You know, like Cody Rhodes could have came out there to celebrate with John Cena. They're celebrating. Pyro goes off. They're raising da da da. They going for the hug and stuff like that. John Cena's like da 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 da. Kick him in the nuts, and then John Cena beats the hell out of him in the middle of the ring by himself.
Apparently, from what Cena said, this turn wasn't supposed to happen at from Cena and Rock. Apparently, this turn wasn't supposed to happen at Elimination Chamber. This was supposed to happen at Mania.
Oh, I'm gonna get to that piece in a moment. I'm
Okay.
just saying how everything could have happened the exact same way that it did all the way up to WrestleMania with how they currently did it. With that, because if you listen, out of all of those little presidential debate promos that Cody Rhodes and John Cena had, Cody Rhodes only one time brought up the fact that he sold his soul to The Rock once. And then, you know what John Cena did in response to it? He no sold it and completely ignored the whole I sold my soul to The Rock thing. All right? So, if they would not have brought it up that time and then kept on going forward, it would have been as if The Rock never happened. But because The Rock was there, and maybe you and I are just weird people and with the way that we think, because like there are people who I know, and there's especially some of the people who are like in our wrestling chat that are just kind of like, yeah, no, I'm pretty cool with the fact that The Rock did not show up not one time throughout that whole situation for the most part. They're all like they're like the less Dwayne Johnson on my TV, the better. And I'm just like, but that doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think I understand where they're coming from because as a fan of who The Rock was, I'm a fan of who The Rock was. This current Rock, I'm not a fan of it. I'm kind of honestly over it. So I can see where they're coming from that angle. That angle of just seeing Dwayne in general is like you're not who you used to be. And it's not like he can't be himself. It's just the electricity. He's a battery. That battery is dying, bro. That electricity is not as electric as it was before. Right now, it's like a static shock or a dying battery. It's just no more energy, bro.
I think a lot of that, and especially with the stuff that I've been hearing and seeing with these other people's and the tinfoil hat conspiracies and whatnot, because a lot of people are out here saying the fact that uh, they believe that there's a power trip going on between The Rock and Triple H. Because when he did that interview, right, how he was just kind of saying, like, like a lot of people were saying the fact that his little cleanup was the cleanup that he was doing was almost like a way of him being all like, hey, listen, what all that stuff that happened, that wasn't my idea. That was Triple H and all them. That they did
That's
that.
that's just The Rock being The Rock, and he's done this. I think he's done this 3 times now because they've apparently, for somebody had pointed out, this is like the third time The Rock has had to come on an interview of some sort and explain what he has done wrong about Mania, like how he has fucked up Mania. And I remember it was the one. No, actually, it was 3 times in a sense of scenario. So it was the Cody situation where he robbed Cody of the match, so he had to come on and explain that. And then the outcome of something else, I think it was at Mania, he had to explain that, and that's why we got that documentary of the breakdown for Mania. And then now he had to do it again to explain what the hell was that, dude? Like, you just want to show up to Mania just to be a part of it? And like, well, I don't really actually want to be a part of it. I just wanted to help make the magic. And it's like, okay, but you as a wrestler know that storytelling is very key to selling us to a match. You have now inserted yourself in a person we want no parts of our wrestling because we only got one music artist in the wrestling industry that I know of that could be a really good wrestler, and that's Bad Bunny. Okay, Bad Bunny was good. Give that man some credit. He was good. Um, he's not, and I hate to say this. I hate to say this. Do not crucify me. He is not Logan Paul good.
I
I'll
mean,
stand by that. If we're talking about
I mean,
celebrities coming into it.
mean, that's fair. However, I believe Logan Paul has. I mean, no. You're right. I'll let it be.
That's what I'm saying. It's like one of those, like, you may not like the dude. He's done some really bad stuff, but man, if he was just a wrestler right now, I low key be like, expunged. Some of it, not all of it, but expunged. We'll wipe some of that clean. Keep doing this. It's just like how people in music are. There are certain artists who have done some very crazy things, but when they drop an album, all is forgiven.
I mean, you're not wrong. Listen, if if we can forgive and still dance with Chris Brown, then
Hell yeah!
sure we can turn a blind eye a little bit to the past that is Logan Paul.
And we can talk about with R. Kelly, allegedly, whenever that whole the film came out, and he made step, side to side, and everybody completely forgot that shit. Like, so
I mean, listen, everyone when it came to R. Kelly, and even right now, like people are doing the thing where it's all like
separate the art from the artist.
Honestly, that's where they're at with that.
Because I'm on it too. Not gonna lie.
But
I'm sorry.
But trapped in the closet.
Trapped in the closet, bro. He made age ain't nothing but a number. Even though it's a wild topic, but Aaliyah made that song pop. That too. So it's like,
I mean, a lot of famous people piss on other people.
I'm dead. Allegedly.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember it, so I'm just saying allegedly, just in case.
I'm gonna say, I mean, he's in jail right now, so he did something.
He did something. It was just he was pled not guilty for the first one. That's why I'm saying if it's still, you guys still say allegedly, because I don't think you could double jeopardy with that one. I think he could, if it would be anything, would be defamation. But like, I ain't got no money, so he ain't win nothing.
His character.
Yeah, I mean his character's already destroyed, but
what two wrestling fan Negroes gonna do to him?
But getting back to the point at hand, this week of wrestling, man, John Cena, dude. Michael Cole is calling him the GOAT for a reason, because, man, when it comes to talking, there is no topping Cena, man. And this week was a proven fact. Because when
John Cena's had to do damage control,
literally,
and I have to say, even though I'm like, maybe because I'm bitter and I just haven't let it go just yet, but like, it's almost like with everything, especially that has happened this week, it's almost as if like WWE's like, hey, forget about WrestleMania. Put that all the way back there. Just like it happened, but hey, John Cena, Randy Orton,
That's literally what it is.
Hey, Paul Heyman is now with Bronathan,
Hey, that's fire though. That was fire.
Hey, you know how we picked the wrong tag team titles to be in the main event of WrestleMania? Main event on SmackDown. Look at that. TLC.
That TLC match. Oh my god. Can we not talk about Tommaso Ciampa and shaving his beard? Oh no, bro, that was crazy.
He literally opened up the bottom of his fucking chin.
Like, bro, what are you doing? Oh,
did you not? Have you seen the photo?
Yeah.
Like his shit opened up to the meat. Like,
yeah, no, it was just crazy to see him shaved. It was like, what's going on here? But John Cena, man. I know we're technically going ahead, but I just got to talk about it, man, because that promo with him and Orton.
The first or the second one, or both?
The second one. The first one, it wasn't really that much of a promo. It was more so like he came out of no, like Cena did the promo, but like
It was
Orton just came up
that was
RKO.
the on Monday Night Raw, the promo that John Cena did, like, after, not even like after hearing it, and then, like, because then, like, the next day was when I, like, took this deep dive into, like, all of this foolishness with The Rock. But it's like, after hearing it, then talking to some people, and then hearing it again, I'm like, oh, I see why this promo this promo was to try its best in cleaning up the mess that was WrestleMania. Pretty much trying to, it was John Cena's way of being like, "Hey, um ignore the final boss garbage. Ignore that soul shit. This is all about me getting my 17 and ruining wrestling." Which he said all that the weeks prior, but there was still the soul snatching final boss stuff lingering over. Now that WrestleMania has happened, and now we know that the soul stuff is garbage, and the final boss apparently had nothing to do with it, when we know good and damn well that it did. It's just something happened in the higher ups that we'll probably never know and discover and hear
Oh
about.
no, apparently the Untold is coming out at some point, so we'll see. Um,
Listen, I'm with the way that I've almost been convinced, but with the way that everything's kind of played out, with the things that I've heard and then I've seen, and then just kind of looking at, like, the overallness of, like, the stuff that has played out leading up to WrestleMania, at WrestleMania, and this WrestleMania fallout, like, from Triple H being defensive about, like, hey, just shut up and enjoy the ride, and then the Rock coming out here saying, like, "Oh, this was all Triple H's idea, so, I'm gonna let them do their thing." I mean, I would have made a couple of changes myself creatively, but, but hey, they
my
had it.
GM
They
mode.
had they had it over there. Listen,
So
that's what I need. I need Triple H, because Triple H is not a GM, so I need Triple H and the final boss as, like, actual GMs. Make it happen.
that
I'll
actually would
pay
be
for that
dope.
DLC. I will pay for that
I pay for
DLC.
that. I don't even have the game and I try it. But here's the thing. So since you brought up the Monday promo, I will say the Monday promo was just as good, but the Friday one, that was just like, like, okay. So the when I brought up in the beginning of the pod, I was talking about how Cena basically put a ticking time clock, or put a pretty much a high alert of, hey, you have this many more dates, and after that, if I still got this belt, I'm gone. And the belt goes with me. And I retire the belt. So for him to pull it up on the Titantron of, like, you had 36 dates. And look what you've done since that time frame. Boom. Boom. And then just the dates start dropping. I was like, damn it, Cena. I like what you're doing here. And it puts that sense of urgency, if not to the locker room, but people who want to keep the prestige level of this title and keep it going. Because, yeah, as he goes into the promo on Friday, if he leaves with this belt, Randy Orton's family, he can never continue his. It stops there at 14. So any other person within that, lineage or legacy, they all stop with Cena and a new belt gets created. Same thing with the World Heavyweight title. That's a new belt. That's not, well, is it technically still the same as the big gold? I don't think it's the same as the big gold, is it?
So, as far as its lineage, I think, goes, it is supposed to be considered like the upgrade and the next up from the big gold.
So yeah, so it has its own
However, I
reign.
do believe, yeah, so it has its own reign, which, from what I've also think I've come to understand, I'll have to look it up, but it's like the world heavyweight title, the one that's in WWE, I think technically is not connected to WCW,
I don't
from
think
the
it
way
is.
it's like, so like the WCW heavyweight title. it still has its own entity, and it's over there now. And then recreated in its image is the world heavyweight title, and the world heavyweight title's lineage has continued on to up until the point where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Well, yeah, because like obviously the regular the universal title is supposed to be the WWF or the WWE title, and you remember the big gold was the SmackDown title. So I'm like, is this World Heavyweight title just another variation of that? Because
it is
okay, so that's what I'm talking about. So if I don't think there's never been anybody who's retired with the belt.
the world heavyweight title.
The
No,
the not the World Heavyweight title, but the WWE WWE title or the Undisputed title. I don't think there's anybody who's ever retired with.
I'd have to do some research because
Same.
usually what ends up happening for the WWE title, no one has had the belt and then retired with it.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, the closest to such is someone will have the belt and they will get hurt and they have to relinquish it. It becomes then the vacant champion takes place.
Mm-hmm.
And so, which that's one of my favorite like Twitters where it's the vacant is the person's name representing
Ah,
the title.
yes. Yeah.
That's a fun Twitter to watch.
Yeah. But I loved how Cena did that. I love how Cena did that. It made me like it makes every appearance now like, bro, somebody gotta get this
It,
belt off of him.
it makes every appearance now feel like it matters even more, and it also, once again, does a great job of making you forget everything that just got done happening because it was absolutely stupid. But of
Yes.
course, people like me are going to continue remembering and talking about it because we're bitter.
I mean, I'm bitter to an extent. I'm um I'm bitter because like The Rock again does some bullshit. But I'm happy with the outcome because Cena as Cross said, you got to be a good soldier. I think it was Goldberg who told him that or whatever. And Cena said it. I think Bailey even said like something about Cena saying you got to be a good soldier or taking something that they give you and making it magic. Cena was given something. He somehow made it magic. And the magic to me was completely in my face. Like the trick, he's doing the trick on Monday. Friday was him revealing it. And that was when, Orton was like, yo, man, I see what's wrong. You need to have some damn kids. And he was like, you try to come out here and make me feel some type of way. And then your parents shame me. Great job, buddy. And then he just goes in on everything. He's like, you know why I don't have kids? Because I've been taking care of these motherfuckers for the last 25 years. And look at how they turned out. And I was like, cinema. Cinema right here.
It's this John Cena heel turn is very interesting to me because like it is the classic situation of when the good superhero just has enough and says, "Fuck it, I'm not going to be all superhero anymore." And then
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it's that situation where it's all like, people will be all like, "No, John Cena, it's not like that." And then in the middle of saying, "No, it's not like that," then John Cena sees something and it's all like, "Oh, it's not like that, huh?"
Yeah, like
That's
when it, yeah.
it's not like that, but I can see it right plain as day in front of my face. It's exactly like that.
and,
Fuck
and the
off, get out of
the
my face.
fans keep doing it too. He'll be like, "Man, yo, how is it that I'm supposed to be this one person that everybody wants me to be, but then for all these years, I keep hearing 'Let's go Cena, Cena suck' chants,' and then immediately after that, they'll do it, and it's just
I
like, bruh,
it's um it's one of those deals where it's like, which I believe he also kind of has made the statement where it's like, because the crowd it's like it's one of those deals where it's like when you're trying to get the crowd to do something, but the way you get the crowd to do it is by making them feel as if it's their idea to do it, even though you're completely working them into doing it. It's like one thing where it's all like, hey, jump off the cliff. And it's like, I'm not going to jump off the cliff. And then it's all like, man, only pussies wouldn't jump off this cliff. I ain't no pussy. Watch. Like, it's like one of those type of
Literally.
things. And that's literally what John Cena's been doing this whole time. And it's one of those deals where I'm just like, I guess just for it, because at the end of the day, which is another thing I've discovered this week. Well, I don't say I discovered, but that has been made very apparent to me this week is that it's always about the money, Spider-Man. it's always about the money, Spider-Man. Because John Cena could have easily turned heel, and honestly, with looking at how this is, this John Cena turning heel would have been a cakewalk. Like they just didn't want to do it. Why? Because of the money. But now they got all the money they can ever ask for, so they're just like, yeah, we can do that. We can run that.
I love also Cena coming out to a new shirt every week. Every week.
It's funny, yeah. Come out to a new shirt every week after it's all like, there ain't gonna be no new shirts. All right, maybe there will be new shirts, but
And they're always themed to the city he's in or the state or the area he's in. So he had a Vegas shirt, he had a UK shirt. Now he had a where were they at?
it was like in
St.
Fort
Louis.
Worth, Texas.
Yeah, there you go. They had it in their font and stuff like that. So it's like it's marketing, and he can play it. It says, you know why I came out with a new shirt every week is because this is the last real shirt you ever get from a champion, something like that. I feel like he can explain that. But the one thing I don't like about this whole thing with Cena is like he keeps getting dropped in every one of these scenarios. I don't like it. Like he talks big shit, and then every encounter with Cody, Crossroads. Every encounter with Orton, RKO. It's like, bro, can Cena look good at the end of these plays? Can we not have him on his back after saying this really strong promo and then getting flayed out flat? It gives me
No,
Bray Wyatt feels, you know?
but unlike Bray Wyatt, Cena can take that shot on the chin. You know why? Because he's John fucking Cena.
You're right.
He doesn't
It's
listen. He could. Number one, he's a heel. All right, he's a bad guy,
yeah.
and if he really wanted to a certain degree, honestly, I would really like it if he was. But he could be one of those shit-eating bad guys, you know. But the thing is, he's too good of a wrestling character to actually do that. But like all the rest of John Cena's matches, he could, for all intents and purposes, spend them getting his ass kicked and then kick somebody in nuts, hit him with the belt, and get the win every single time. Because
I wouldn't have no problem with
he's a
that. I'm
heel.
just talking about these promos. Like he has to have some moments of him at least triumphing. You know what I'm saying? Like having something.
So the reasons why that he does not need that is because when he comes out there, fam, he is taking a big cow pie dookie on the whole crowd. A big one, steaming. Okay? And you're trying to say you want John Cena to come out there and shit on everybody for 10 minutes and walk away unscathed?
At
That's not
least
gonna work.
one time. I don't need it
No.
every time, just one. I want him to
No.
be able to raise the belt and it be just like booze. Like,
No.
you know
No,
how
no,
some
no.
heels
What
do.
happened? No, no, no. What he's supposed to do is he's supposed to take that, or he just leaves the ring like he did with Cody. And then
That
later
would
on,
work. That would work
and
too.
then and then maybe later on he gets, he attacks him from behind and do the heel thing. But it's like that's not, no. There's gotta be some retribution for those harsh and rude and mean words words that Mr. John Cena has said. Like you can't let that you can't let him do that, and especially considering the way that like this whole layout is right now. Like no, can't do that.
Again, just
He's
like how you had wishful thinking with Gunther, let me have my wishful thinking about Cena. In that sense.
mm,
Pause.
ooh. Speaking of Gunther, though, when I was saying that it was Crash House season, brother, everybody is crashing out hard right now. Gunther being one of them individuals. And you know what? Once again, trying to, which it was very interesting to me going back and listening to all these things I've ingested and heard this weekend. People actually giving that match between the two of them praise.
We talking about Jay Uso and Gunther?
Yes.
Hey,
There
yo,
are
you not about
people
to
out there.
you gaslight me. No, you ain't about to do that. You ain't about to do that. You ain't
There
about to do
are
that.
folks who are out there who have actually given the match praise, which is crazy to me. The one particular person who gave it praise that I was actually very surprised that they gave it praise, but it's one of those things like I think because he himself is a wrestler, it's like he saw it in a very different light, which was Steven Richards. He actually said that he thought this match was good, like he liked it, which his spin on it, and I heard someone else put this spin on it as well, was the fact that it's like, and it is one of those deals where I feel as if I think they're looking at it as a match in itself, not paying attention to all the outside stuff. But in the match, Jay, he did the thing where or at least the way that he was trying to infer it and how he digested it was the fact that Jay went in there and he used his arsenal against him, like as if like that was like a form of mind play, that he kind of sort of put against Gunther in that match, which he did do that, because he went in there and he did
Powerbomb.
Gunther's power bomb, and he finished him with Gunther's the neck choke out, and he was saying the fact that to him it made perfect sense why Gunther would tap out so quickly, because Gunther's not used to being put in his own attacks and put in his own moves, and so I guess the way that he digested was like, when he put him in that chokehold, Gunther probably Gunther panicked because like, oh, no one chokes me out. What's happening? And blah blah blah. And so I was like,
So kind of
though
like
that's
how
an
so kind of like how Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle would immediately tap out their submissions in that submission match to save their limbs.
yeah, kind of like a sort of thing like that, almost to a certain degree.
Like I don't want to
But
get
it
choked
was,
out. Yeah.
and so it was like that that particular idea, and there was one other person who also kind of had that same idea and thought, and I'm just like, that's a very interesting way to look at it. And maybe just because I'm to a certain degree such a casual fan that I wouldn't see it, but when you look at everything else in the build up and sacrificing the brother, beating him bloody, licking his blood and rubbing it on your body, translating to I panicked so I tapped out. Nah, I can't. I can't get with it.
There's no explanation somebody can give me. That's what I said. Somebody gaslit you. To me, Steven Richard gaslit you and say, no, it was a good match. Think about it like, no, you're not about to do that. You're not about to do that. You're not about to do that at all.
And so, but one thing that was also said was the fact that if Gunther was going to take a loss in such a way like that, especially with it being so Well, I don't want to call it squeaky clean, but Jay did beat him clean. There was no cheating involved on either parts. And so, considering the fact that he lost like that, because in my mind, I'm like, damn, Gunther's image is going to get shot. But how do you keep How do you keep a big bad man's image from being shot? You make him go out there and do big bad things. And what better way than threaten Michael Cole, attempt to choke him out, and instead choke out Pat McAfee?
Yo, did you see that video? It was a video somebody did where it was like the minute he smacks the headset off of him and he closed his eyes and it shows the dog.
Yes.
Like he just knew.
Yes. Yes. I'm almost positive I saw that and I shared it on one of our pages because
That shit had me, because it took me a second to get it. I was like, he's like he knew he was cooked. Are you talking about Pat? So then I looked at it a second time, and I see Michael Cole. I was like, oh, that's what
listen,
it was.
my Cole's like, well, today's the day.
Like, today's the day.
He knew it was over. He knew it.
He fight, bro. That shit's crazy.
But
But
that, I'm glad that happened because in my mind, because funny enough, because it was Steven Richards who said that, and then it happened. I'm like, oh, he's right, because boy, we was really about to have Gunther out here looking like a bitch, like, tap it out the way he did. I was like,
but to then beat up, I mean, obviously that is a very heelish thing to do, is beat up somebody like an announcer. But it's just one of those, like, man, could it not have
bro,
been so, like,
crash out season, dog. Like, he just needed to get his hands on somebody and beat their ass, and that it was Michael Cole. It also, because Michael Cole also did say some shit. Although it's kind of
yeah, he
funny
said he got
that
choked out, yeah.
well, it's kind of funny because of the fact, like, I don't, I know it's not. It's definitely not. But like, AEW just got done doing this angle. I'll explain. Last week, FTR. Was it last week? Maybe it was 2 weeks ago.
You talking about
But
the Edge thing?
Well, so on Dynamite, one of the Dynamites last week, I'm pretty certain it was last week. No, it was Collision. It was Collision because it had Jesus, why do I blank on this dude's name? But the British guy that's usually with it's
Nigel.
usually not, yeah. So
Oh, when he did
Nigel.
the apology.
And so because what happened was FTR was out there, and then they called in the other announced guy to come into the ring because they're buddies or whatever. He's all like, "Hey, so FTR was all like, so like you was talking about some stuff, saying about my daughter and how she would be disappointed in what I've done, and yeah, no, you should probably keep my family's name out your mouth, so I'm gonna need you to apologize." And homie was all like, "Well, I'm not sorry for what I said. I stand by it. Like, what you guys did was bad and it was wrong, and like I just felt that, like, if I'm I feel as if that she would probably be disappointed in the way that you acted." And then they scooped homie up and was about to do like a spike power driver to him in the middle of the ring. But Nigel jumped up on the apron and was all like, "You put him down, leave him alone." And that's when Danny Garcia came out there and all the other stuff. And Danny's boys came out there to stop him. And then they had the match at the end where, Danny Garcia's homies got the shit beat out of him and all this blah blah. So like that happened there. And then now WrestleMania passed this Monday, this happens. But the difference was the fact that, I mean, slight difference because no one extra came out there, but Pat McAfee did come in there to try and help him. But Gunther actually pulled the trigger and choked out Pat McAfee.
I think that's
And
when
so
Hunter was like, "Oh, I saw that angle. Hold my beer."
I mean, I doubt it, but it was just like a comparison. I was like, this looks familiar, very familiar.
And man, you even said it yourself. There's no original ideas in wrestling.
Boy, let me tell you,
You said it
I just
your damn self.
I wasn't expecting just to see it so quickly. So,
You know, we're not gonna question basically how that kind of stuff goes down, but I know what we can do since we've been talking about the crazy wacky world of wrestling this week. I know we got some questions ourselves that we need to finish because we've been dancing around these questions for the last couple of episodes. I think we're finishing it off today. So you got technically three of them. That's You had two, but the third one I remember was supposed to be us about the gimmick, right? Or was that one of them?
no, it was just
Okay, I thought it was that and
first.
the gimmick. Okay, I thought it was three of them. Sorry.
So if we're gonna go straight into questions, the first thing, the first one, which I feel is a easier thing to wrap your brain around, is what is it about wrestling that does it for you? What is it about wrestling that keeps you coming back? Like, why are we here?
It's obviously it's and I stutter when I say this real quick because it's like it's a very difficult thing to explain to somebody who doesn't consume the product the way I'm about to say it, but it's something about the story itself that wrestling creates. Somehow, I know obviously that it can be gimmicks, it can be rigged, all that kind of stuff, but there's these stories that you're telling me that draw me in, that build me up for these characters and say, I need to see that match. I think Jim Cornette did a thing where he explained about you see this guy who gets bullied by this other guy on the side of the road. Oh no, excuse me. He's getting bullied by this really big guy. He's doing really mean things to him, calling him mean things, pour a bucket of water over his head, just picking on him and stuff like that. You watch it and you just like, man, I want that dude to just get his comeback moment, just like knock him the hell out. And you keep seeing it for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then suddenly you see them, you're driving down the road and that same guy is getting picked on by them, but you're passing by and you're like, I want to see him get help, like, or whatever. And somehow that guy says, you know what? I had enough. I'm going to see him at the bar. I'm going to go there. And you're like, man, I got to see that fight. It's the story of like you seeing the underdog story, you're seeing the compelling story of how somebody is trying to make it out or trying to do what they do, and you want to be on that journey with them. You kind of feel connected to them, like not even like you know them, but you do. And the story is one part that draws me back in, but the biggest part is the athletic spectacle that is wrestling. They're so like, man, these guys are training and they're doing some of the most crazy shit that you see in wrestling. I think Undertaker said it himself when he was looking at Logan Paul and that backflip he did at Mania. He says, "Bro, that's video game shit. Like, what the fuck? What do you mean you did that?" And Logan was like, "I don't ever want to do that one again because I was so terrified I missed that spot." But a part of it also is nostalgic for me because or tradition, because since I was like what, maybe four, I was at 13, something, maybe 12, I've been watching this like as a family tradition. I got my friends, I got my people who watch it with me or like watch it together, but it's such a evolving door to think that this product is 365. There's no breaks, there's no season, it just keeps going. And I feel like for a lot of fans, you can rely on the fact that every Monday for the last how many years Raw's been going on? Raw's been going on for maybe 50 years almost,
No, no, no. You
like
can't
40
say.
some shit.
Well, WrestleMania has been going on for 41 years,
Yeah,
but if you're talking about Raw specifically, I don't know the exact number, but
me
like
neither.
Raw came out like in I think the first episode of Raw was like somewhere in like 94, 95. I mean, we have, as Chris Van V says, we have the world's information in the palm of our hands. So
No, I apparently need to get this shirt because it says, why do I need Google? My wife knows every fucking thing. Because my wife sometimes is literally goddamn Google. But in this sense, no.
well, also, I mean, your wife is in there. Ask her; she might know.
Hell no, that motherfucker don't know this shit. But either way, the thing about um with human nature is that we are used to routines, right? And there's something about the routine of every Monday. You can come to this, you can come to this show, you can come to this thing, and they're going to tell you a story. They're going to draw you in. You're going to be connected with multiple people who also enjoy this thing. You're drinking alcohol. You're shouting your favorite character's name. There's something about that tribalism almost, and that routine of constantly doing that. You just can't stop it.
That's by January 11th, 1993. That was the first Raw.
Okay.
But no, I feel that I see where you're coming from. Very deep, like goodness.
You asked me a deep ass question. Pause. You asked me a question that was very deep to me. Yes. 32 years, by the way.
And so
Damn, that's like literally, besides 2 years, that's literally my whole life. Okay? Like 32, that's like literally my whole life. All right, bro. So I've been watching it for years. But continue. Go ahead, go with you. Sorry.
I mean, you're correct. I mean, because I'm the same way. If anything, I in comparison, I've actually been watching it probably since 1993. I I don't have a whole lot of memories from 1993. I was only 2 years old at the time, but I also know wrestling was always on in this house. And so, because as I said prior, my grandmother used to watch wrestling with her stepdad. My mom watched it with her granddad. My brother watched it with my mom, and I came out the womb watching it with them. And so it's it's always been there, and it's like literally, as you said, when it comes to that routine, it's it's also always been baked into my routine throughout my life. And so I know for me, the thing that I think keeps me coming is just it is I enjoy the spectacle that is wrestling. I love watching it. I love the fighting kind of thing. I like fighting of all kinds, but the easiest to get to fighting for me has always been wrestling. I'll watch some UFC when I can, but it's like, but UFC is never just put in your face like how wrestling is, kind of
Yeah, you
thing.
gotta be on Twitter for that shit. For like the back and forth for
And
for those fighters. Yeah.
and I'm I'm lazy. All right. I'll easily I'll tell you straight up. When it comes for me getting my entertainment, I am very lazy. I need it to I need it to be put into my face. I need it to be put in a spot where I now have to mentally make time to watch it, or I'm just not going to end up seeing it, or I'm a miss it. And wrestling right now is the only thing that does that for me. Like, because let it be known, sure, it's on Netflix. You can watch the replay, but the replay is never as good as seeing it as it's exactly happening. And that's with anything that I watch. When it comes to anime, I love watching anime, but number one, anime does not come on at 8:30, at 8:30, 9:30 Eastern anymore. Anime comes
Oh.
on whenever you make time to watch it, kind of thing. And I'm very much a person who I don't like to. I can't quite make time to watch. I can't make time to watch anime if anime has not given me a time to watch it, kind of
So
thing.
you don't like binging. You like the fact that it's raw, it's in the moment. Like if an episode comes out this day, it puts you in a position when you have to be like, okay, I gotta make time to watch it because you gave me a time, you gave me a place where I need to watch it, and I will have to be there if I need to see it.
Correct. I was a big believer in them times where they'll be all like, "Hey yo, the newest, never before seen episode of this particular thing comes on at 9 o'clock." When that happens, I will do everything within my power of duty in life to make sure nothing is going to stop me from watching this premiere episode at 9 o'clock. But now, with the way that streaming works and stuff like that, it's like we're on July 8th, we're just going to give you the full season of this show. Oh, okay. Well, if the whole season is out, I eventually I guess I'll see it. There's nothing that is giving me the urgency to just want to go and watch it right then and there. Now, to a certain degree, depending on how good the show is or considering how many people are watching it that I know of who are watching it right now, like something like Game of Thrones, like no, I'm because I know Game of Thrones drops at 9 o'clock on Sundays. Because of the urgency of needing to see that show, yes, I will make the time to watch it when it drops specifically then, because then there is that factor, which bringing it back around here, there is that factor that if I don't watch it right then and there, I'm gonna miss out, or someone's gonna be I'm not gonna have a chance to talk to somebody about what happened when certain things happen in that show.
You
And
remember back in the '90s when we couldn't film anything, so if you missed it, you missed it.
exactly. And there are very, very few shows of any kind that gives me that sense of urgency to want to see it like wrestling does consistently. Now, I will say I've had times where I've fallen off from wrestling,
Yeah,
but
like it happens
those
to any wrestling fan.
but those very few times where I would fall off, like especially like this last particular time, I stopped watching wrestling because I was sad and I was depressed because it was reminding me of something that I couldn't have at the time. And so, like, because it was so attached to something that I couldn't have, it was like I don't want to see this because it's just gonna remind me of that thing that's now missing, type deal. But it's
Hmm.
like since then, it's like when Monday Night Raw comes on, I'm watching it right then and there. Cause with wrestling for me still, it's like that whole like if you don't watch it when it first comes on, you're missing out. And
Basically,
sometimes you do, because when you're watching it live, sometimes when you watch something live, they go back and they like edit shit and take it out and tweak and fix. And so I don't know why that. So it's like back in the day when you'd see something and all of a sudden someone grabbed the wrong part and all of a sudden it's like oops, now oops, they got their ass ended up being shown on the camera because of the quick wardrobe fuck up or whatever. It's like nowadays, if that happened, the next time you watch it over, that whole piece will be gone.
yeah. Like remember when Mae Young in 2000, like Royal Rumble 2000, where she actually flashed the audience. If you watch that live, oh, you saw that. If
But on
you
the
if you go
replay,
get the tape, it's not on there, but you saw that.
and that's something that is loved and cherished when it comes to wrestling. And that's part of the reasons why it keeps me coming back, because there's always something within the content of wrestling, and this is across all wrestling aboard, where there is, if not all of it's for me, at least there's like one bit that's in there that I'm just like, all right, I want to see this. I want to see where this goes. I want to see what happens with it. And because of the fact, with the way that we know, because we all know it's a work, as Dwayne has made that very clear to us. It's a work. We're all being worked here, and so I enjoy the work, even at this point in the game where it's like so much of wrestling is like, we are now actually getting to see the people who are writing the scripts. We know the fact that before a match, there is a match agent that's like, all right, so when you go out there, you're going to do this, and this. All right. Don't deviate from the plan. Do everything that I say, and match ends. Cool. As opposed to knowing that they're going out there and they're just like going having a banger, and I mean, we know it still happens to a certain degree, where they're discussing what's happening in the match, or the flow or whatever. But it's like, even with like everything, the wool kind of pulled back, you know there's still a part of it that is still very fun to watch, very entertaining. And it's like, now it's all like, oh, so these are the crazy things that are going on behind the scene. Now it's like, okay, so I see what they're happening behind. That's what's happening behind the scene. But how is it going to get presented when they put it on TV now? It's like there's like this weird new layer of wrestling that has now developed with this, now showing what's happening in the background versus the front kind of thing. Because before it was all like, man, I wonder what they're doing back there. Now it's all like, man, I see what they're doing back there. So what's going to happen on tonight's TV? It's like it's almost as if it got reversed now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it's that particular bit that keeps me wanting to come back, because I want to know what's going to happen. And unlike Game of Thrones, it takes Game of Thrones 2 to 3 years before I can get my next 9 episodes, as opposed of it's only going to take 7 days for me to get my, and not even 7 days, 7 days for me to get my next episode of Raw, but only 4 more days for me to get my next episode of SmackDown. And even sooner, I got some NXT in AEW and TNA in the middle of it to fill up my time while I'm waiting for what I really want to see on SmackDown. And so it's like,
It keeps you going.
keeps me going. Like at this point, because there is so much time for me to need to watch and want to watch wrestling, it's like I have to really figure out when I'm going to watch anime. because wrestling is happening right now, as opposed to like anime is already now happened, so I'm not waiting for new episodes kind of thing. So it's like, as the episodes build up, I'm like, well, I mean, eventually I guess I can watch it, as opposed to that urge and that need to want to go see it right then and there when it happens. But we don't get that no more with current TV. And the only thing that still gives me that is
It's
wrestling.
wrestling. Yep. uh,
It's crazy.
I get that. I get that. Again, it's that tribalism, it's that routine that also comes with it as well. Like you said before, you've been watching this since you've been out the womb. Why, if it's still here and it still gives me that same feeling, it still keeps pulling me back in. Why do I stop watching it? I'm not gonna stop watching it then. Just gonna keep going. And especially you're gonna tell me new stories, you're gonna keep pulling me in. And it's always because as any wrestling fan, you're gonna have a moment where you're watching it, and there's something about wrestling that's like, man, this freaking sucks, man. I can't stand it. And then it pulls you right back in. You're like, I was done with you. But now you got me back in because like the Seth Rollins thing with Braun coming in, it was like, oh man, this whole thing is gonna be stupid. This, and this. Boom, you get Braun coming in. It's like, oh, now the whole world is like the Shield photos with Braun and Paul Heyman and then Seth Rollins and then New
Oh
Evolution.
God, that shit is hilarious. I've seen the photos of like where they tack the faces on the.
Yeah. So like Paul Heyman's on Roman Reigns, which is funny. But it's like those things, it's like that also just the community that is wrestling just keeps pulling you back in. And it's like the minute you want like, all right, let me get out the pool. Let me get out the pool. And it's like, oh no, let me go ahead and get back in. And it just keeps pulling you back in every time, every time. So I
It doesn't
think,
stop.
yeah, it does not stop. And I think that's the thing about wrestling that keeps me going. And I think you could agree that's the thing that keeps you going.
100%.
Mm,
100%. It's
mm.
there's I don't know what wrestling would have to do to make me full on just be like, I'm not gonna watch it anymore. Because it the only reason why I stopped because I've only ever stopped watching wrestling once. And the reasons why I stopped watching it had nothing to do with the product itself. It was outside personal shit that
Mm-hmm.
made me stop watching wrestling. And so the only other time I had a time where I stopped watching wrestling was because I just physically couldn't because I didn't have the cable. Now, I've stopped watching wrestling to a certain degree where like I might not watch one of the shows. Like there was a very long time where I did not watch SmackDown.
Yeah, I would just watch the YouTube like highlights and stuff. Yeah.
Like I didn't watch. I didn't watch SmackDown. I didn't even watch the YouTube highlights. I watched the on Raw. I watched the SmackDown rewind that they would do, where they would do like, hey, by the way, this is what happened on SmackDown last week, and I'll look at that, and then I'd keep it pushing, and I would just watch
Same
Raw.
same thing with what Wrestle Talk. There are times where I'm like, man, I don't feel like watching this, and I'll just let Wrestle Talk tell me what happened. I'm like, oh, well, that's crazy. All right, see you next week. See you tomorrow.
Correct. Listen, I know that I know a lot of people who actually still do that now. Like they won't actually watch the shows, but they will watch the reviews of the shows, which
Mm-hmm.
to a certain degree is like it kind of confuses me. I'm like, so you don't want to watch the actual show, but you still keep up by watching why do you not just watch the show? But at that point, it even further goes to show you the fact that like the story is so important because on the review they're not giving you the play by play of what happened in the match. Like, all right, so he kicked him and then he did this and he did. No, there was like, so they fought and what's his name lost, but at the end of the match, he grabbed the microphone and he said this, did that, and then he jumped and beat him up and blah blah blah, and you know, and that's the part that we like. The wrestling, as they always say, is just a plus. And I agree. I believe it.
Depending on the match, the wrestlers themselves, like there are certain wrestlers that we're gonna like, oh man, you're in that match, shit, that shit about to be fire. There's some people that's like, I guess well, and then all of a sudden there's a plot or a story. It's like I said before, you remember me my dislikes of the Miz, right? Remember I said I'm not really a huge fan of the Miz, this and that. But whenever he did that promo on Daniel Bryan, I said, all right, Miz, I'm locked in. What you got going on, bro? I'm here for it now. I'm here. And that is the beauty behind like wrestling. You may not be a fan of something, you may not like something at one point, but there's going to be something, there's going to be some magical moment that just pulls you in. And even though that was on Smack Talk, I was watching SmackDown that next weekend because I wanted to see if they were going to continue with that or was that just a moment? It's wrestling.
It really is wrestling. Wrestling, and honestly, especially when it comes to like on that particular level of like, the moments and the things that keep drawing you in. Like I definitely harp on the fact of like the story, because like wrestling's storytelling, um the way that the way that they present things and they show it, and the way that like wraps you in, like gets you so involved, sometimes more involved than you even realize that you are, kind of thing. Like that that specific bit about wrestling is what I know for certain is the thing that keeps me coming back every single time. Cause like especially when they do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Cause there was a time, and it's funny because like there was a time where WWE was not doing it right. And you know what I did? I started watching TNA instead. And so even when I wasn't watching WWE, I was still watching wrestling, just in a different outlet, because they was giving me that nourishment that I needed for story and match that follows it, and the build and the payoffs and all this other good stuff. Like it keeps me locked in. It also makes me enjoy wrestling even more, because then going from when I was a kid to even now, I then play the wrestling games and I make up my own goddamn stories.
I mean, that's the whole point of GM mode.
Listen, when I play GM mode on the game right now, even though there's no like when you like there's no real quote unquote story per se,
But you
but like
created.
but in my head, you know, there is one. Whether if even though I know there's not an actual story, and whether because like GMO, like you can make a rivalry happen, and you can keep that rivalry going on for a number of weeks, kind of thing. But it's like there's no saying, all right, so what was this rivalry about? Why did they? But my head canon kicks in, which then now I'm like, yeah, I'm making Cody Rhodes and the Undertaker face each other of because he interfered in a match, and he has the belt, and Undertaker doesn't like him because of this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, yeah, this is great. Yep. And I'm gonna make them fight and let's see who wins. And then I go from there. It's just fun. It's fun.
It's a lovely thing. It is a lovely thing that is wrestling. And, since we're talking about exactly what pulls us in, say if we got to the point where we got pulled in so deep that we said, hey, what if I actually became a wrestler? What would that look like? And I think that's your next question. Am I correct?
It is.
So, just for the audience sake, did I word it the right way, or like
No, not necessarily. Hold on. I have to actually look at myself. I mean, that is the question. The way that I specifically wrote it out was what is pretty much just like what is your wrestling name and gimmick if
Mhm.
you are an actual wrestler.
uh so do I just give you the gimmick and the name and that's it? How far do you want me to
I
go
mean,
into it?
give me whatever you got. Like what is
Um
what's
so
your wrestling persona? What's your gimmick? I mean, if you want to include your finish, that's cool too. Like
so
pretty
because
much.
I took so much influence from Taz and like Joe, um a little bit of Penta with like the style and everything and that nature. um I came up with the name Cage. And I sat here. The name was very difficult. The name part was just it was the toughest part because I see myself as the Mazaku, and that's just who I am. And to be like, well, I mean, that'd be a difficult character to make as a wrestling character. And
Why so?
uh mainly because remember we had the conversation of monster, and you know what that is. It's basically to me, with a name like that, it categorized me in that monster area. It's what I felt. It's what I
So
felt.
I don't know. Well, I mean, so I believe you've said it before, but what is Mazaku?
The Mazaku is basically a demon. It's a different form of demon. It's a more different form of a Japanese demon. Whereas Akuma is demon, the Mazaku is a demon, just a different type of demon. But the influence came from Yu Yu Hakusho, and Yu Yu Hakusho, Yusuke Urameshi, when he dies for the second time. And there's no spoiler alert for this. This anime came out in the '90s, so if you didn't see it, you didn't see it. Uh, the second time he dies, he becomes the Mazaku. And it's an ancestral demon that was passed down through his genetics. And he becomes this beast of some sort where his hair grows out, he gets tattoos, and he just gets really aggressive as hell. It breathes monster. So a name like the Mazaku to me, it breathes monster. Even when I did content on like TikTok with the name, like that was kind of like the samurai character I made. He was a monster in a sense. So that's why I made
Oh,
Chugi, and Chugi was my softer side. So he was the comic relief, he was the comic character, whereas the Masaku was militant, he was very, you know, cutthroat, and that's just what it was.
Yugi,
So
that was the one who more so was like, would drink from the gore. Super.
yeah,
Ah,
that was him. Yeah, so it's more funnier side. You know what I'm saying? It's the goofier side. Whereas the Moscow, he came up, he was very, like I said, straight, cutthroat and straight to the point. And I think I did even showcased a little bit of that when I first started doing the Tekken intros. There was one where I did two different intros. I did like the stern, you know, cold character, and I did the cocky character. That's basically the origins of the Masaku and Chugi. Like the show off character was technically how Chugi was. Chugi didn't come out until well, when I say come out, it's his second personality, but like as a character, he didn't truly show up until I started doing the Mortal Kombat videos. And I was like, ooh, let me do a version of Johnny Cage, but we call him Gage. And what other character could I do to do a mashup with? And I was like, okay, what about a comical character who's all about drinking his gourd, and he gets power from his gourd, and but he's having a good time, you know? And that's where Chugi came from. But that's me though. I like drinking my sake, I like hanging out, I like having a good time, and I like shooting the shit. But like the Masaku, there's none of that. It's straight, I'm here. I am the OP character in like any battle situation. That's what the Mazaku was. So that's why I felt like if I came in wrestling with that name, and even with my character in my wrestling promotion, the Mazaku, he is a monster. He's just a monster who can never elevate to the heavyweight title because the company he's under is like, you don't go for that belt ever, only this guy goes for the belt. So the Mazaku is basically, I am a brute for hire, and the highest level I could ever go to is an IC title. Like that's who he is. So it's just like to do that currently as who I am. I really love doing promos. I love doing very compelling, very like pull you in promos like New Jack did. New Jack back in the day when he did his promos, he was raw, he was uncut, he pulled you in. One of my favorite wrestlers is Jake the Snake because he pulled you in with his promos. And whenever I started doing that stuff on TikTok with I can't remember his name right now, and I feel so bad because we did some back and forth promos and they were really good for this match we had on Tekken, and I was pulling out this character was Goro Mazaku, but like it was the more flashier side of me or whatever, like The Rock, pretty much, you know. And those promos, I had so much fun with it. I'm pulling you in. I'm showcasing my style, and I feel like with the character Cage, it would make more sense. I could be that. I can do those promos and still be a badass, But whereas the Masaku is supposed to be a monster, and if I recall, that's the character you would like to be. Whereas me, I kind of want to pull the people in, you know.
So
But yeah,
when it comes to that, which one thing I was thinking, I mean, I wouldn't. Don't get mad at me for making the comparison because I know how you feel about this guy right now.
go
But
ahead.
you could do a Finn Balor type situation where you're always on your back taking the. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Now,
No. Hey, yo, that's crazy. And that's the
uh,
last thing the Moscow needs to be doing.
on his back taking pins. Yeah, I feel that. But no, I was about to say that like for instance, and this would be specifically more so for like the Mazaku and I think you said it was
Goro
Goro.
Masaku.
And so it's like Goro is the main character. However, when you push him too far, then he becomes the Mazaku type thing.
You know, that isn't a bad idea. That isn't kind of like how with Mankind and Cactus Jack. It's funny. I just showcased that match to my people not too long ago. The Royal Rumble 2000 match with Cactus Jack and Triple H, and that's one of my favorite matches of all time. Only because of the buildup of like Mankind having to morphosize to Cactus
Had to
Jack,
get
and
he
that's
had to
literally the
get
same
to
thing.
another he had to get to another level of crazy.
Mm-hmm,
Which
mm-hmm.
is which back in the day, just going off of that quick tangent, I I never realized the fact how like it wasn't until like in the later times where I was like, wow, so because before Cactus Jack always was like almost like a myth, and then when it finally happened, it's all like, so what you're trying to tell me is that Cactus Jack is actually crazier than mankind? Is that the narrative that you guys are pushing? And it's like for a moment I didn't get how, but then like after seeing it's like because mankind though mankind is crazy but can take a lot of damage. Cactus Jack is crazy, can take a lot of damage, and will take a lot of damage doing damage to you as well. Type thing. Like
Chaotic as
it's
fuck.
like he's true chaotic evil,
Mm-hmm.
bringing it
Mm-hmm.
to them D&D terms. But
Mm-hmm.
but like and it's for the thing that you were talking about, like it's not so much that it's like Goro has like this mental switch to Mazaku. It's more like a Goro, if he need it, like if you put him in a position where he has to like, okay, you're crossing the line, and if you're gonna cross the line, so will I. And that's when he taps into the true Mazaku mentality, and then goes beast mode type thing. Where it's like it's just you'd still be yourself, that being Goro, but but whatever, it's like when you get pushed to that limit, now you have to go full demon on somebody, kind of
Okay.
thing. And
I
so
like how you completely Uno reverse on me. It's like, you know what? I didn't say I had doubts of the idea and the concept, but it's like you made it make more sense. And that is also another thing that is beautiful about wrestling, is where you can go, well, this is kind of a discount lariat in a sense, but you can go at it one way and think, that's probably the way it goes. But then somebody puts it in another perspective in front of you and says, you know what? That makes sense now. Yeah.
it's all about in the good, the thing that makes good wrestling is when it does make sense. And actually, because I was just actually at a wrestling show uh, yesterday, and one of the things, because I'm listening to the guys, they're going over their match, and one of the guys, they were talking about a spot they were going to do where, they which they call it, I don't know if it's universally called this, but they call it the Tower of Doom. And the Tower of
Yes.
Doom is okay, so that is just
Mm-hmm,
universal what
mm-hmm,
they call it.
mm-hmm,
Okay. I didn't know. So they were going to
mm-hmm,
do a Tower of Doom spot. And so it would have been like the two tag teams were originally going to suplex him off the
mm-hmm,
top rope, but then Ray Zeon would come in and he would kind of sort of grab them and, power bomb
mm-hmm,
while they still did the suplex. And though very small detail and not one that many people would even really think about, but he was like, and this is the other tag partner. He goes by Bobby. And he was like, he's like, I don't know. I Can we change it a little bit? Like where instead of me being facing, I have my back to you guys and we do like a back suplex. And at first everyone's all like, why would you want to do a back suplex as opposed to a regular suplex? And he's like, well, when you think about it, I'm sitting here and I see everything that's happening. If my tag partner is trying to come in and save me, would it not make sense for him to want to even like do that if he knows that they're going to suplex me kind of thing? Because I could see him, he could see me, and so if they are, if he's going to pull them off kind of thing, it wouldn't make sense for me to still get suplexed. But instead, if I have my back to him, my partner, being Ray Zeon, it will still think that he's coming in to save me. And so he would come in and he'd grab, and as he's trying to do the suplex, thinking that I might try to, that I would be fine because, they're not going to be able to hold on to me, you know. But what ends up happening is, as he's still trying to, suplex you guys, y'all grab me anyway and then I get suplexed as well. So it looks more like it was an accident that he did a double power bomb to these guys off of the turnbuckle while they were still holding on to me because he figured that they wouldn't have been able to hold on to me whenever he
mm-hmm,
did that. As where he sees me getting suplexed, so and they'd be holding on to me at that moment. So why would he want to still follow through with that doing the double power bomb if he knows I'm gonna get suplexed with it? And it's like it was a very small thing, but it made sense as to why he would want to just slightly tweak that. And it's like at the end of the day, like I don't think anyone in the crowd would have paid it too much attention or would have read into it. But at the
mm-hmm,
same time, for that one super smart mark in the back who's all like, well, why would they do that if he's the because his back was turned and then they did the thing where it's like when he was trying to like suplex him, they were like trying to hold on, and at the last moment they grabbed Bobby, which is when they actually got
mm-hmm,
did the Tower of Doom. And so
mm-hmm,
it's like it made sense and it still helped tell the story kind of thing. And so it's like that whole bit of like when things make sense in wrestling, even when it's super small and minute like that, or even with this, it's like it helps. It helps in
yeah,
the long run because a lot of us folks are very into like, continuity and, you know, thing like it makes when it makes sense, it makes you feel better kind of thing. Now, Gray, you would think that I wouldn't care about that considering all the Dragon Ball Z shit I got in the background, because boy oh boy, do they not know how to do the continuity shit very well, but I digress. But when it comes to my character, which yes, I so I am big into the monster type characters. However, I never saw my build as being worthy of a monster type personality or character. And because of that, I've never actually thought of myself in a monster type format. And so the character, especially in more recent times, the character that I've come up with is actually based off of a a character who was quote unquote trained by my actual character in the wrestling game. And so I would call myself Platt Diesel is the name I decided to stick with. I think Platt Diesel sounds cool and it looks good. I would still consider myself the Platinum King, so I wear the jewelry, I wear this flashy stuff and everything like that. And I would carry myself in a very flashy, very gloating kind of
Are we
way.
talking like Ric Flair flashy? Like how flashy we talking?
Very flat. I mean, you could say Ric Flair flashy, but Ric Flair flashy, but nigga, if that makes sense. It's the best way I can it's the best way I can put it.
So Carmelo Hayes. I mean,
So
cause that's a flashy nigga.
if I were to piece it together using current wrestlers right now, uh Carmelo Hayes, um Carmelo Hayes, Dolph Ziggler, and Carmelo Hayes, Dolph Ziggler with a little, actually I won't even say a little bit, so I would just say with but with a good dose of the Messiah, Seth Rollins.
I thought you meant the Messiah from CZW, and I was like, how the fuck you know who that is?
Because I don't.
Yeah, that's why I was confused as fuck. I was like, but okay.
But
So
it's
the
like,
Pope. So the Pope.
whoa. I don't want to talk about it right now, but like we can't be the Pope is a weird conversation I've come to learn in more recent times. Like it's it's something that
We're
I
talking about
don't want.
D'Angelo Dinero, right?
Yes,
Okay, so
yes,
what's wrong
I
with
know
that? Like
exactly.
that's literally it.
As for, I have to explain to you when the camera's off when it comes to that.
Okay.
But visually speaking, I guess you could say that. But like, but but the but the overall arcing thing is, you know, like Platt Diesel sees himself as being that guy. Like he is the epitome of style. His chains and his jewelry shine the brightest, and and that's that. The what is it, the slogan that I have for him? He is the mark of perfection with a platinum complexion. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that's that's where his headspace is, type deal. Now, funny enough, which is also the weird thing, because like I never see myself as a heel, but that particular character would make a very good heel kind of thing. You
Very.
know, very self-absorbed, very into himself, very I see myself as the tippy top, and anyone who says they're up there aren't actually up there because that's where I am. You can't get on my level can't be found. And so that's that's my main character. So Platt Diesel, another name that I've thought of would be like if Platt Diesel was the nickname, the actual wrestling name is John Cosmo. And so that's like my number one pick for like if I was to be jumping into the indie scene right now. Now I do have a secondary character that I've come up with. which is definitely a bad guy. And his name is actually based off a friend of mine, which is the name would be his name would be Dexter Maurice Jones, but he's very commonly referred to as Dirtbag.
I remember that
And he,
character.
correct. And Dirtbag is exactly what the name says, and it's to a level of I don't care how I get it or what I do to get it. I'm just going to receive what I want to receive. And that's Dirtbag's whole MO. Like, full cheater, never does anything the straight way. He always lies. He can't be trusted at all. And if
Worse than
and even
MJF.
then, I would say I don't know, because MJF is
He's very
he
much
is a
dirtbag.
scumbag.
Yeah, oh,
He's
scumbag. Scumbag. Yeah, it's scumbag.
he is a true scumbag. So, like, honestly, him and MJF, they would actually probably work very well together. But it's like that. But then they'd always be at those odds where it's all like, all right, so which one of us is actually going to betray each other? And the answer would be as soon as this is no longer beneficial between the two. And so, which as long as so it's like as long as we keep making profit, is as long as we can still keep hanging out. But
Money Incorporated.
that's like the second one. But I do have a third idea. And this third idea is one that I would kind of similar to how I was saying with like Goro and Mazaku. I would plant this one with like my Plat Diesel character, and but it would only be through like story, and the idea of it would be is the fact that like if Plat Diesel got to a point where he got everything that he wanted, he's on top, and then there's the full crash out where you lose everything and nothing is and everything is just gone to the wayside. Then there's that breaking point moment where it's like my character would lose himself completely and kind of sort of go on. And this is kind of sort of like where the whole monster kind of idea would come into play. This is like the only time where I'd kind of sort of become like that monster type personality, but not so much monster, more like psychopath, where you just kind of lost yourself. And so, and the title that I would then uh, give myself is the Advocate of Chaos.
Isn't that very similar to Killer Croc or Killer from the
No,
promotion?
no, actually, nah. Killer and Croc are literally just my Killer and Croc are literally just my reincarnations of Undertaker and Kane.
Okay, because I remember the. Oh no, no. Okay, so now I remember because you had the Avid Chaos because of your other character. Okay, now that's what it was because I remember I had it in the game. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay, okay. Like you got.
It's funny because I got that name. I actually got that name from somebody. Actually, it was from the group chat. One of the guys in the group chat was where I think I was where that name really came from because
Mm-hmm.
I was also definitely the person that would I was an advocate for chaos in the group chat, and that's when and my friend he also was someone who liked to just say crazy things in the chat and be all like, "Fam, that is the most outrageous and outlandish stuff." But then I would add to it. And so and that's where the Advocate of Chaos kind of sort of came from, and as far as the name goes. But as far as my character would go, it's like it's pretty much like he would lose himself and he become this supposed advocate of chaos, but he would refer to chaos as if it's somebody as if it's an actual person who he's trying to please now. And so he would come out and he's singing the praises of chaos, talking about, and he talks as chaos as if chaos is an actual entity that he is trying to pave the way for, type situation. But in reality, there is no actual chaos person. Or maybe there is. There could be. But like that's pretty much his whole stick. So he will go out there and, like a scenario type situation, go out there and jump somebody who had nothing to do with anything that he was doing prior or before. And it's like, why did you go out there and bloody up this dude? Like, why'd you do that? It's like, because I was told that was needed to happen, that it needed to go down, and as the advocate, I am here to please and serve chaos in whichever way possible. And he deemed this necessary. And one of those, literally on that type of shit where it's like, this nigga lost his mind. He's
I fucks
absolutely
with it. I fucks
crazy.
with it. I fucks with it. I fucks with it. It almost gives Jake the Snake "Trust Me" vibes. Trust me.
Trust me.
God, I love that. Oh my God, I used to love that shit. It's like, what's gonna happen? Trust me. I used to love that shit.
I was very indifferent when it came to the whole "Trust Me" era of Jake the Snake. Like, I think like I liked it, but like the theme song, like
I play that shit all day. That shit is on repeat, my guy. I probably play it after we end this. Just it's so good, especially the Federation, like the Super WrestleMania version, because they made it on there. So like I had the so if you go back to WWF WrestleMania, whatever, and the one where it has like the blue screen and it has the character's face, and if you hover over their face, it plays their theme song. Go back, listen to it. It's the Trust Me theme, and that's where it started for me. Because it's just something about it's just so it sounds like an intro to a beat, and you just waiting for the drop. It's fire. I love it.
see, I like his other one where it's like
The original one?
I guess that's his original theme song with the
Yeah, that really fast one. I like it. Don't get it twisted. It's a good one, but the Trust Me one, bro. I feel anytime my song hit and I like walk through, because I got this like I have this cherry blossom stuff going over to my bathroom area. So if I song pops up, to act like I'm going through the curtain, you get that slow walk. It just hits every time, man. Oh my God, I
now that
love
we're
it.
talking about this, it actually like because I've been trying to like pinpoint like what is it that it like makes me, why is it reminding me of something, and I'm like, Liv Morgan's theme, like,
Watch me.
yes, like I've been like every time like her theme song when it comes on, it's like I'm like, why does it remind me of something? But that's what it was like, because I've been trying, like, how it's all like, man, I hear this and there's something else in my brain that's like trying to break out of this box of being all like, hey, this reminds you of this. I just could put my finger on it, and now that we're talking about it,
Just like how Dean Ambrose theme used to remind us of the Power Ranger Turbo intro.
Still does.
Yeah, still does, no matter what. Oh, okay. Well, I have to say you had 3. I had 1. And I feel like I underprepared because I had sat down, had that concept in my head of what I was gonna do, because I remember before I mentioned definitely want to have very Taz vibes, suplex machine type thing. So it was kind of like the biggest portion to my gimmick. But I want to, now that we had the conversation about themes, I want to make a question. I kind of think we should do this at the end of every episode. Do a question that can lead into the next episode. And now I'm curious, what are your top 5 wrestling themes of all time? These are the go-to jams. I already know one of them, but and it's the fact I see you cooking, your brain is cooking. It's cooking right now, but I already know one of them, and it's hands down. I know it's one of them. But save it for the next episode.
Of all time. Yeah.
Of all time.
It's funny because there's only 5. Because I know I could probably end up hooking up more than 5. But
okay, you want to make it 10? We can make it 10.
Oh. That
10 actually gives you a chance to not like, because you know how that moment where you're like, oh, but this one, you know what I'm saying? So how about this? You do 5. Top 10? Okay, top 10. Top 10 it is.
I'm cool with top 10. Because then this also allows me to really think about like other promotions.
Yeah, because oh my God, yes.
And so this will give me that.
Oh man, that's tough.
Explore, like full on explore and branch all the way out with what I want to think and say for those. Because like I have like my surface thought ones, like those all popped up like immediately, and I'm just all like, ooh, okay, all right, okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, because I know we had the conversation on like what's our favorite one, but like it was like one, but like a top 10, I feel like that would be a good way to continue to deep dive of that one. So I really would look forward to this question and hearing the like, what the fuck you picked that one? I'm so hyped for this shit. I'm so hyped for it. And honestly, I'm hyped that everybody sat here and listened to us rant and passionately talk about wrestling. Appreciate you guys coming here every Monday to do this, whether if you're getting in the morning, whether you're getting in the evening, just like, oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I'm doing weird shit with my hands.
I thought you was getting ready to say something, but we appreciate you guys coming up every morning, whatever if you're like swag and you're like, yo, every morning at 9 I'm here, or if you're like at some point in the day I gotta listen to it, we appreciate you. We are now actually on Buzzsprout, so all our episodes are on Buzzsprout. So actually we're on a lot of podcast networks now. We just recently got on Buzzsprout, so we're on streaming services. I need to actually check if we're on Spotify now and Apple Music. And we are. Okay, boom. Does it show our photo and everything? I didn't get a chance to check it out too. Okay, bet. So we're on Spotify. We're on Apple Music. We're on pretty much.
I do believe. What's the all-inclusive thing that they normally say? We're on all streaming
platforms. Yeah. Now I gotta look it up because I forgot to check that out a while back.
But yeah, we're on all streaming platforms, and of course, if you want to listen to us but also see our facial reactions, we're always gonna be here on YouTube.
Yo, we all here. Let's go. We all here, photos and everything. Nice. All right, I'm gonna have to hit it with the follow now. So if you haven't yet, hit us with the follow. We're again on Spotify, all streaming platforms. Check us out and our episodes again.
And we're also on all social medias. Where I've definitely been trying to get those cracking. Super active on Facebook. Definitely active on Instagram. I'm working on the Twitter. We're getting
the Twitter.
there.
You got to do Twitter, bro. I can't get with it, bro.
My problem with Twitter is the fact that like because of the way that Twitter is designed and whatnot, it's like in comparison to everything else, Twitter is like shouting out into a void and seeing if you're going to get an echo back. As where with like Instagram and Facebook, and even a little bit with TikTok, it's like when I put something out there, I get instant gratification to a certain degree. So it's like the echo comes back a lot faster.
There are times that yes, with Twitter, you can say something and nothing happens. Absolutely, and that's the one thing I did not like on Twitter. I had stopped doing that. But
that being said, so if you got Twitter, what is it? It's under
It's
BBOD
BBOD.
podcast.
Yep,
Yeah,
everything's
BBOD
saying
podcast.
BBOD
Follow it,
podcast.
and whenever I post it, just let me know that you heard me or something.
There you go. And if you haven't yet, like we always say, please be sure to like and subscribe on the YouTube and as well as all the other social medias that we have. We definitely appreciate you guys as we continue to grow. You grow with us. But as this podcast is built for destruction, we are always going to destroy it when it comes to get us being on this mic, whether if it's criticism, whether if it's just us having a good time, we're gonna always make sure we're providing you the best of wrestling content that we can. So until next Monday, we will see you guys soon. From me, it's the Masaku.
And it's your boy, Swag Switcher. No crash out today, but stay tuned.
Hit him with the V1. He went V1, 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 and we out.